Live at lunch.
You are looking live.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Hannegriff.
Yeah, for some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live? Is it live?
From Dozy Place on Government Street in Mid-City. Welcome to the Tuesday edition Live at Lunch. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Charles Hannegriff, Jimmy Ott. Jordan Kinchin's back in the studio. Andy Isco with us from Vegas today. We do first class, second class, no class. Well, it's a crowded docket for that. In our number two, Spurs get their first game of the NBA Finals, 115-111, and that's where we will start today. Jimmy, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
The Garden was hopping. The biggest game there.
It was a place to be seen.
25 years, maybe 50 years, including the president and a host of celebrities. It was every bit the atmosphere that it was supposed to be. And then the game started, and the Knicks came out a little bit, I don't know, overhyped, nervous, just the whole adrenaline of the first 3 minutes. And they found himself quickly in a 7-0 hole. Then
7-0. I just think just important. They had 3 turnovers.
Yes.
They had 3 turnovers before a point.
And Victor Wembanyama's first 3 baskets were all right at the goal.
His effort level, or energy level,
yes,
I should say, which is very important for me.
They get to the midway point of the first quarter, and that lead had gone double digits, and that's about where it stayed for the rest of the first quarter. But in the second quarter, the Knicks got it together and played about as good a 12 minutes as you can play. I mean, they blew the doors off. They got a little bit from everybody. Josh Hart was making shots, Jalen Brunson. Some of those angles that, he was able to get balls off the glass over Wembanyama at 7'4", and then Wembanyama puts his arms up in the air. I mean, good luck trying to get it over him and off the glass and in, but he did it a number of times. They did not, in that second quarter, get the ball as much to Karl Anthony Towns as I thought they might, but they had a big mismatch with Anunoby, and they built a 7-point lead at the half. So the third quarter to me was where the rubber met the road, Jimmy. It was San Antonio going to respond. They went out. They took the lead in the first quarter. They had a double-digit lead, and then the Knicks threw a haymaker at them in the second quarter. They come out of that thing down 7. If the Knicks have a similar quarter, the game's over. If they just have a good quarter, let's say they double the lead, they get to 14, it's going to be hard for San Antonio to come back. San Antonio answered it in the third quarter. And whether it was Victor or it was Castle going to the goal or just, whatever it was that they whenever they seem to need a bucket, they seem to get one. And I love the way Dylan Harper plays. I like him a little bit more. I know he didn't make a ton of shots last night, but I like him. I like his aggressiveness. He does not back down from anything.
He's a great finisher.
Yeah.
He's very tough, but he's with time his shot will improve, but his shot's got a long way to go.
And I hate to make big comparisons, but his attitude, his fearlessness at that age reminds me of a 19-year-old Kobe Bryant. When Kobe, maybe he didn't make all his shots, but he didn't lack for confidence. Even when Shaq on that team, he's like, "Look, man, I'm gonna get mine.
He was a rookie
I'm gonna go."
in game. It's an elimination game against the Jazz, and he took by far the most shots.
Yeah,
like as a rookie,
right? He got criticized for taking too many shots.
Well, he would.
And he didn't care.
He did sometimes. Even the Game 7 they won against Boston was terrible.
Yeah.
He should have deferred a little bit more. But, I'm saying, to lean on him that heavily, is something I was like, damn, man, they leaned on him a lot.
Right.
To kind of carry him. And again, it was at Utah. It was a tough game. They lost, but still, yeah.
So what they got out of Harper, I thought, again, he missed some shots last night. But every time Victor had to make a play, or somebody had to make a play, a lot of times it was Victor. He said, look, I was bad in the game. you got to come out. That's the face of your franchise. That's your superstar. He's got to answer this on the road in the most hostile, the biggest stage, the biggest media market, all that stuff. Victor was nails yesterday. You got to give him credit. And
it's about his approach. It's about it. What did you remember what we talked about yesterday? About the defensive strategy against the Knicks?
Yeah, and
Keldon Johnson was the main maker on Karl Anthony Towns. He was on hard a lot. He sags. He stays on that side, but just outside the paint where he can roam. He can protect the rim. And Karl Anthony Towns and the Knicks did not prepare. I'm going to give you a lot of credit, Charlie, because it's kind of like watching LSU versus a Renowin or something, no matter what sport. How much can you tell? And they were so superior to teams in the East. And this was early. And you said, Jimmy, I like what I see. What did you like what you saw?
With the Knicks?
The Knicks. Even against inferior competition, what did you like? What did you see?
I liked that you had everybody in that starting lineup was in their prime, and you had a team that did take their foot off the gas.
No. Style of play.
Oh, they're moving the ball.
Yes.
They're moving the ball.
Very good.
Oh, moving the ball.
Ball movement. That's an eyeball thing. What in the box score, what stat gives you an indicator of ball movement?
Assists.
We're on the same page.
Yeah.
The 13-game winning streak before last night, there was one game where they did not lead in assists against their opponent.
First game against Cleveland?
Very good, Charlie. I tell you, they're throwing nothing but roses, your bouquets, okay? They got out-assisted last night by 10, 28-18. Yeah. Not only that, what quarter you said they were pretty good last night?
The Knicks, second quarter. Yeah.
9 of their 18 assists in the second quarter. 3 in the first, 3 in the third, 3 in the fourth. What happened? I'm
sure when they look at the film today, that's what they're going to ask themselves.
So they're also, how many times have they, of this streak, of 13 games, winning streak, how many times did they have more turnovers than their opponent?
Probably none.
0.
Yeah.
They had more turnovers last night, and the Spurs had 10 more assists. Okay, so all the ball movement, it looked like it was, the thing that Brown gets credit for, okay, because he's the difference. Everybody else is the same, is the ball movement. Mm-hmm. Is not, we get it in the last 5 minutes of the game and down the stretch. If you want to, what makes Brunson so, what is the best thing about, man, he's a hell of a closer. He's a hell of a closer. When the game slows down, it becomes more half-court sets, down the stretch, he's as good as anybody. He's special when it comes to that. But not the whole game. It was like he was trying to work for an MVP candidate. How many points he had? All kinds of points last night, huh? 32? Brunson?
32, yeah.
That's more than he had the first 2 games. Not playing as well. Too many missed shots, man.
Yeah.
Too many missed shots.
He was averaging 25 through the first 2 games on 33% shooting, I believe it was.
He's up to about 30. He's about 36% right now. That's a lot of missed shots. Yeah. Karl Anthony Towns is shooting what for 3 games?
Ooh.
Like double that?
Yeah, last night was his worst shooting night, but he made 2/3 of his shots in the last game, and the one before that he was right at 50%. So, yeah, I would say
he's probably like 57?
53, 54, something like that, because he shot 40% last night.
I mean, they stopped doing what they were doing. So, the other thing, they had all the pomp and circumstance, and I mean, it was unbelievable how many celebrities were there or notables. I mean, it was. I was like one after the next. Johnny McEnroe isn't it? Like, he's a New Yorker.
Sure.
Okay. I mean, he grew up going to some Knicks games and stuff like that.
So Eli and Jeter sitting next to each other.
Yes. Yeah. Jeter, Eli. I mean, well, is Eli a celebrity?
In New York, he's a 2-time Super Bowl champion, so yeah.
Yes, he is. He shut down that Patriots offense. So, good for him. They were sloppy early. And I think it finally, this team seemed so mature and so immune to the distractions. You could not help but notice some of the distractions. Okay? Yeah. 3 turnovers before you have your first bucket, your first point. Okay, and then they're not going to exhale, right? Man, they sure look like they exhale coming out that locker room in the second half.
I think
that lead was gone immediately, Charlie.
Yeah, it was.
Immediately.
That was way more surprising to me because they carried so much momentum into the locker room. It was almost like I expected that first quarter, at least the first few minutes. I said, man, look, how can you not be overhyped at that point? And you're not coming out flat. You're just coming out so jacked up that it gets away from you. But how long was it going to take them to settle in? About a quarter. Well, once they did that and they took the lead, I'm like, well, they're okay now. And then when it came out in the second half, I was really surprised because that was more, like you say, an exhale, more of a flat. The beginning of the game I expected. The third quarter, I did not. Didn't see that.
I did. What's my style of playing on the bet? Okay, I got the Knicks. -1.5. It's 5.5 is the spread at half. Got a whole 20 minutes to think about it. I didn't middle.
Didn't? Yeah.
No, when I don't middle, like that's how I mean, I was like the Spurs showed us something though. Because to come out and throw those first few punches and take that lead and then going into locker room down 7, who didn't think they were done?
I did.
The young team, we waiting for them. We waiting for their morale to be defeated.
Yeah.
I mean, at the toughest time, that young group grew up a little bit, man.
They grew up a ton. So going to the fourth quarter, you got a 1-point game. So basically, it's a wash. You know how a lot of times I say, I watched the whole game, but I pretty much knew who was going to win. When they started the fourth quarter, I had no idea who was going to win that game. I really did. I mean,
it's a 1-point game in the NBA, and it's been back and forth.
But we've seen both teams have control for an entire 12 minutes at a time. And for San Antonio, really twice. I didn't know who was going to win the game in the fourth quarter. Starting the fourth quarter, I really did. I said, this is anybody's ball game.
No, but because both teams lost cushions.
Yeah.
They both
had dominance and regression in different points of the game.
But Wemby's energy was there. Now, as far as Brown, talk about the officiating. I didn't hear peep about the officiating in a 13-game winning streak.
I was very tired of the officiating argument.
Wemby's got to get teed up for pushing Brunson.
Yeah, he hits him in the head.
Castle shoving down Brunson. Yeah. Got to get teed up.
Yeah.
Okay, but how about the guys leaving the bench for the Knicks when they gave Hart didn't know, but it was totally by accident. He didn't know, so that's why he responded. Yeah. But he got teed up because you can't push a guy on a dead ball.
Right.
So he gets teed up. But did you see your boy from Missouri, Clarkson? He's right there. That's an ejection or a tee.
It's supposed to be automatic when you come off the bench like that.
That's black and white.
They missed that, and they missed. I thought Wembanyama's shot to Brunson's head was the worst one that they missed.
Well, he should have got teed up.
And they didn't see it. It's not like they saw it and decided not to call it. I can't imagine. Okay, because even the broadcast team last night when they went back to the replay, because the foul was 3 feet over on the other side. They're like, oh, wait a minute. I didn't see it. Even the broadcast team is at courtside. They didn't see it. I didn't see it in real time. Did you? I mean,
no. I mean,
so they missed it. They missed it.
I know, but I don't know. It's
I'm gonna complain about officiating when the free throw discrepancy was not
Charlie. The assist number tells you. I mean, they're not attacking the rim. I mean, all those early fouls to put them basically into penalty 2 minutes into the fourth quarter. They're locking down Wemby's arm. They're not fouls? Of course they're fouls.
Yes. Yeah.
They're fouls. I mean, and when you're not attacking the rim and the opponent is, I mean, yes, you're going to shoot more free throws. I mean, and to say they put him at the line intentionally a couple of times down the stretch.
Well, at that point.
Well, I mean, that's included in his commentary.
Yeah, no,
you're gonna, give me, man, shut the hell up with that.
I didn't have any problem with the officiating. Other than they missed calls you miss calls every game. Was there lopsided officiating? I didn't feel that way.
You're not gonna shoot as many free throws if you're not moving the ball around.
Yeah.
Assists, higher the assists, higher free throws too.
I wrote the stat down somewhere, now I can't find it, but the number of touches that Karl Anthony Towns had in the second half as compared to the second half of the other two, where there are possessions where he doesn't touch the ball, okay? Well, that's the guy that, in my opinion, is responsible for a lot of this ball movement and is responsible for the efficiency of that offense. Is run it through him. I understand Brunson's the guy. Run it through Cat.
He's got to go, and they were shocked that they did. We've seen this where the rim defender, and who's a better rim defender than Wemby, is going to take hard and sag. We just talked about it yesterday.
Yeah.
How can you be shocked what other teams have done you are doing to you? Why did it take 3 games for the young coach for San Antonio to do it? I don't understand it. But when that happens, what are you doing once you realize Keldon Johnson is on Karl Anthony Towns?
I'm getting him the ball in the paint, man.
Yes. We going down low, and we're gonna play bully ball.
Yeah.
Yes.
They didn't do that.
Can I give it all the pomp and circumstance? Can I give the early first class?
Sure.
Did you see Adam Silver?
Yeah.
When they asked him about the president coming?
Yes.
So they asked him on 2 days. They popped him a couple. Said, what'd you worry about? Tanking or flopping? And he says, I think we've addressed tanking. And he did say the players were supportive of the tanking.
Right.
Well, I don't. To what degree, I don't know. But
I thought Draymond Green, of all people, had a wonderful explanation for why he hates the tanking. He says, "Look, when I go play, it's real easy to get up to play against the best players in the league. But when I go play Memphis, and I got 5 G leaguers, I'm like, man, that's honest.
That's one way.
That's honest.
He's getting better. Once he needs to respect those guys that established that show. He has, and he's getting better. And it's scaring me because I think he's really kind of good." And I hate him. So, but
if he's going to be honest, I like that.
He's being more concise now, and he's a sharp basketball mind. Adam Silver, when they asked about the president coming, we don't get into politics. You don't know that guy. Tell me how you can improve his response.
You can't. When he said sports is supposed to be a unifier,
he didn't use the word unifier, but he did
bring us
build
together.
Communities.
Yeah, bring us together.
It was the same thing. You're paraphrasing,
right?
Yes.
That's great.
I mean,
great.
Dolan called him. He invites him. He is a New Yorker. He did grow up. I mean, he has been going to games in the past. But he's welcome.
Dolan might win a championship.
But Silver took no. I mean, it just kind of. They didn't have anything to say. No, I mean, there's a lot of extra traffic. I mean, I did hear though from a person involved with Super Bowl security.
Yeah.
Say when they get the word though that the president's not coming.
Yeah, no, it
adds a layer of.
I didn't realize that's the first time a sitting president has been to the NBA Finals ever.
So what game in Alabama did he go to?
LSU.
Was the Alabama LSU game?
One of them. Yeah.
It was an afternoon game, huh?
Yeah, it was 19.
We didn't hear horror stories about.
We didn't hear horror stories, but
about the security thing. The worst I've ever been to was 9/11, post 9/11 Patriots Rams Super Bowl.
Yeah,
that one was. I mean, we know about right. We're live here at Dozy Place on Government Street in the heart of Mid City. You're thinking about Doge, thinking about getting a hand cut steak over here in a casual atmosphere with the hand cut fries or all the different sides. Great bar over here, great selection of wine and specialty cocktails, but again, just a great steak, but a casual type of atmosphere. And the thing about you start off with the tamales, but we have a completely different menu for lunch. The plate lunches like the spaghetti and meatballs, the chicken fried steak, it's huge portions, man. The hamburger steak with the hand cut fries and the mashed potatoes and the gravy. You do different burgers, sandwiches, chicken sandwiches to the Nashville spicy dipped hot sandwich to the char grilled or to the grilled, and you could kind of create it your own way, with all the different aiolis, cheeses, toppings, and things like that. We got some salads as well. Charlie likes the big grilled shrimp salad over here. Really good stuff. So a completely different menu for lunch. It's available Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. here at Doe's.
Live at Doe's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
with Ott and Hanny from Doe's Eat Place on Government Street on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
And we return here at Doe's Room. You can always get the show on demand, 1045ESPN.com, LouisianaSports.net. It's brought to you by Supreme Rice, celebrating 90 years in business here in 2026. Supporting our Louisiana farmers, go to SupremeRice.com. I got a feeling that there's going to be some more fallout here very soon in the Brendan Sorsby situation, but we found out something here. This has been reported here just in the last 10 minutes, Jimmy. The Texas court has scheduled Brendan Sorsby's trial against the NCAA. You know, we've got this appeal, and they scheduled the trial. You know when they scheduled it for?
January 28th.
You're close. February 8th, which is going to do a lot of good.
Since the national championship is the 25th
the week before,
or something.
Yeah, the week before. So this is in Lubbock. So that's the first thing. The NCAA asked for an expedited trial in this. And look, I understand that whatever this Texas court is, this district court, college football ain't the only thing. You know, they've got other business, so I'm not blaming them. I'm more blaming the judge from yesterday, but that gives you an idea. We'll schedule the appeal for February after the season is over and nobody cares. Can tell you that Big 12 athletic directors have scheduled a conference call today with the commissioner. A number of their ADs went on the record yesterday about how steamed they are, and I'm using nice language because Gene Taylor at Kansas State did not, and he wasn't.
Oh, he's in the Big 12.
Yeah,
well, that's what I mean. That's
there are a number of people that are willing to go on the record. Even Thomas Mars, who has fought the NCAA tooth and nail, is saying, I'm paraphrasing here, come on. He says there's no question that the Big 12 could impose draconian sanctions. This is Mars's words on Texas Tech. And the type of sanctions would only be limited by their creativity. The Big 12 is not party to the Texas lawsuit and therefore not enjoined from doing anything. Now, if Mars doesn't think they've got a case, if Mars thinks this is ridiculous. Also, you talk about the first Penguins through the ice about ADs are like, we're not scheduling them. Georgia and Nebraska both sent out memos yesterday saying we won't schedule Texas Tech in anything. Now,
in anything.
In anything, yeah.
I mean, when was the last time they played them in anything?
Well, I'm
just serious. It's easy to say when you're a non-player.
You're right, and when you're a non-conference team that wouldn't see them, it's easy. But what it does is, like I said, the first Penguin through the ice, you open that dam and you open that opening in the ice, and then everybody starts to follow you in. The SEC presidents, I'm told, have a conference call today. They're going to talk about this. The Big Ten is right behind it. If there is enough pressure around college football to say, listen, and the Big 12 is the heavy here, because if the Big Ten, the ACC, and the SEC all say, we're not going to schedule Texas Tech in anything.
It's easy to hate on your opposition.
Yeah, that's one thing, okay? But if the Big 12 says, no, we can't allow this. And that's what I heard more than anything from everybody that commented on this yesterday in positions of authority was this kid simply cannot be allowed to play college football after what he's done. He didn't make one mistake on a night. He made the same mistake knowingly 9,000 times. He cannot be allowed to play college football. That's what I heard yesterday. That's what I'm seeing today. Now, is the court going to acquiesce to that? No, because they just said, hey, we'll deal with this after the season when officially nobody cares anymore. The
scheduling thing is not as strong as
you don't think it's a good first step?
It's a tiny first step, Charlie. Come on, who are they scheduling non-conference?
No, but
it's Abilene Christian, Oregon State, and Sam Houston.
But if it leads to the Big 12 saying
no, the Big 12's they got 9 Big 12 games and a 10th. Big 12 championship they're probably going to be in like they were last year. No, the Big 12 starts, they get enough pushback, and like the Kansas State coach speaking publicly against it is way more important than the Georgia. When did Georgia play Texas Tech? When is the last time Georgia played Texas Tech?
I couldn't tell you, but I
could tell you they hadn't played them in my lifetime in football.
Correct.
In the regular season.
But if the rest of the SEC follows Georgia and the rest
that's fine, but they're not scheduling SEC teams. They're not playing Texas.
I get it. I mean, but it adds to the pressure on the Big 12 to not schedule these games. And if the Big 12 bails on them, then it is a big deal.
You're like me when I was like 10, and I never drink coffee. What are you going to give up for Lent? I'll give up coffee. It's you're not giving up anything that you.
It's more symbolic than anything.
That's fine.
But if it leads to,
they got to but again. Abilene Christian, Oregon State, and Sam Houston, these are nobodies, and they're not pulling out, and they'll schedule more nobodies. Did that keep them? Who did they play last year? Same type of crap. They played. It was pathetic. I mean,
it doesn't affect this football season. If you're right, okay.
The solidarity. If you want to speak out, okay, Sankey, speak out on it. Okay, Big Ten, Sankey and the Big Ten commissioner are the two biggest. But we're talking about your league. Well, let me know what the Big 12 commissioner says about this. And it took.
Well, we're going to find out today.
You had one commissioner speak out on all this nonsense, and it got upset. And you can say what you want. Oh, slam dunk, slam dunk. This is more slam dunk than that one. And that was when Oates with Bediako, okay? Yeah. And Sankey spoke up. And did he influence the judge? I don't know, but it sure is correlated. He sure didn't give it a Tuscaloosa judge.
I think the other three big leagues, it puts a lot of pressure on the Big 12. And you're right. They can get through this football season.
But don't threaten the scheduling because they've never been a part of your schedule. Never.
Okay, but if the Texas Tech women's basketball team has to go out and schedule 15 games outside of their league, and nobody.
How many SEC teams did they play this year?
I don't know. But if everybody else says, okay, don't just hold it to these teams.
I get you. But what is he playing? He's playing football. Mm-hmm. That's the biggest dog, sure. And their football schedule is not affected.
I guess.
I understand the symbolism, and I understand and I understand the push. And yes, these are people that voices do count collectively, sure, because you can't get them to agree on much.
Anything.
Okay. So I grant you that. But as far as they'll survive just fine if the SEC teams don't schedule them in football.
Yes.
Sorry.
No, they will.
Have.
But it's a lot more than that. And let's find out how solidified they are today.
Let's see who's the Big 12 commissioner.
Brent York.
Okay.
Yormack.
What's he say? They got to stick a microphone in front of his face.
They're having a conference call today.
Okay. Well, you know the results of the conference call before you even get a quote. You know where all the different coaches stand. You know where they stand.
Yeah,
it's anti-Sorsby.
Yeah,
okay.
So what is the commissioner going to do? What are they going to decide to do?
Because the coaches want to make sure their damn players are on the square.
Absolutely.
Yes.
They're all saying we're going to go to Vegas and teach them how to gamble.
You can't give make it open game, open season on the it's okay to gamble. Sorsby got out of it. You can't do that.
This kid.
That's more than scheduling, Charlie.
Yeah.
Well, please, Georgia guy. I'm sorry, but come on, man. I want more. That symbolism, maybe, but that's not. Ooh, they're gonna be just fine.
It all happened in less than 24 hours. These guys don't move this fast for anything.
Don't move fast and don't agree on anything.
Right, and they did all of that inside of 24 hours.
Yes. Let's move together. I agree.
Yeah.
But seriously, Sam Houston State gets a big check from going to Texas Tech.
They do.
Let them drop them.
Yeah.
Okay. Let somebody actually sacrifice. Let Oregon State pull out of it.
If all this happened in the first 24 hours, I want to see what happens in the next 72. I really do.
It's got to. And you asked me yesterday. You said Saban might be best guy, but who replaced him?
Who appoints him?
Well, if Saban's a complete hypocrite, but I would put him number one on my list to be a commissioner of college football.
Yeah,
I really would.
I would too.
Even with his Alabama ties, and even though he's still on the Alabama payroll. Okay,
I would too.
But you know who his replacement is?
No, I don't.
Who's the best narcs? The former drug dealers. Give me Mars.
Oh, okay. Well,
he's voicing. Yeah. He's trying to say this is not good for college athletics.
Right?
Is that like a little first step?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of things happen in the last 24 hours that usually don't happen this.
No. This ruling has the chance to produce a lot of positive things.
Yeah.
This is the ultimate wake-up call. Man, this thing has gotten completely out of – you can't have – it's not wrestling. It's not scripted. Well, we think so. Well, Alabama State basketball game was.
You got a kid from Iowa that placed a $10 bet on a women's basketball game involving Caitlin Clark and lost his eligibility over that.
This has a chance, and the leaders, and that's the important thing for them. That's what's important to speak out, the Georgia AD and whatever the AD, to speak up now, because now is the time. You got to strike while the iron's hot, because this is the wake-up call that everybody needed to try and get on the same page and say,
even make that bill move.
We got to do something.
Yep.
Don't forget our friends at Legacy Title. Chad Reynolds with Legacy Title for all your real estate closings. 296-0060. Full-service title company servicing all of South Louisiana. Fast, friendly, professional services, which you get with their outstanding staff. Their long-standing team that will execute your deal seamlessly. Ashley Donald, Adrian Galata, Michael Platt, Mariana Haynes, Natalie and Bradford Smith. Buying, building, refinancing. Nobody chooses but you. Choose Chad Reynolds. Legacy Title. 296-0060.
Live at Doe's. Live at lunch. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Doe's Eat Place on Government Street on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge. Heading out to Las Vegas, deep in the desert, lives one man. One man of many sports bets. The one and only Andy Isco.
Andy. The Spurs win Game 3. Do we have a series?
I believe we do. I had the Spurs last night. A lot of people were saying, well, the pressure's on the Knicks to get that home court and not give it back and give the Spurs any chance. I felt the other way around, of course, that all the pressure's on the Spurs, because it's unrealistic that if they're down 3-0 that they're going to come back. And even the fact that they were down 0-2 after losing both games at home, even though both games were winnable. Remember, Game 1, 95-94 Spurs, and the Knicks outscored them 11-0 in the last 2 minutes, and then, of course, the 1-point ending of the game in Game 2. So I figured that, San Antonio was just unfortunate. They didn't play well at the end of Game 1, and it was just a question of who made the last shot in Game 2. When it gets to Game 4, I'm going to be backing the Knicks in Game 4. I think I think the pressure was off them to the extent of that 13-game winning streak hanging above their heads, and hearing all about it and all the excitement going around it. Well, now they've gotten, I'll say, their wake-up call. I think the Knicks still have been the better team really throughout this series, and they were reasonably effective against Wemby, but last night was the night for the Spurs, and I'm looking for the series to go back to San Antonio with the Knicks up 3-1.
I think Charlie was talking about that old saying, it's not a series till the home team wins.
The home team wins. Since '93, since they opened up with 3 road wins.
That was
Phoenix, Chicago.
Yeah,
right?
that was the Bulls. Yeah. That was Barkley. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Barkley. That was a 2-3-2 format back then, and they won games 3 and 5. And then the Paxson hits the shot. That was a Sunday night game, Sunday evening game. He hits a shot to win it in Game 6 in Phoenix, or they would have had to play Game 7. In Phoenix as well.
Jordan never had to do
No, I know that. You never had to play a Game 7 in those 6 titles. So let me ask you another thing. So what do you think about Game 4, and does the winner of Game 4 win the series?
I'm going to be on the Knicks in Game 4. I do think they're going to win the series. I don't know if it'll be in Game 5. I wouldn't be surprised if this comes back and ends in Game 6 at Madison Square Garden with the Knicks. But I'm going to be on the Knicks in Game 4. They didn't play poorly last night, and again, it just came down to the final minutes and all that. But one thing keep in mind, that Villanova connection. These guys have been very, very comfortable with each other for a number of years, and I can't remember the last time that. And in fact, you might remember the last time that we had 3 starters or certainly key players all from the same school playing playing like we're seeing with the 3 Knicks guys.
I mean, the only thing would be comes in with Goodrich and Kareem, from UCLA, or with
that's the thing. You're going back that far into the 60s and early 70s.
I mean, to have 2 players, much less 3. No, I can't.
Yeah,
that is extremely, extremely rare. And and they had DiVincenzo over there before as well. Yeah. So, the one thing I remember about that Villanova team, that Brunson was a freshman and the rest were like sophomores or juniors. He was the only one of the starting 5 that did not redshirt under Jay Wright. And one thing, and look, we all respect Jay Wright as a coach, and as far as he's had multiple championships, a lot of games with a lot of different players. So I mean, they are pretty sound, defensively. The loose balls, just kind of they do a lot of the little things that a lot of very talented players just don't pay attention to.
Yeah, this Knicks team reminds me so much of the 69-70 Knicks team with Bill Bradley and Cassie Russell and Willis Reed, et cetera, et cetera. They were an unselfish team. They were always looking. Assists were important. They didn't mind passing the ball. There was really no superstar. I guess Clyde Frazier, Walt Frazier, may have been, along with Willis Reed, the key. But it was an unselfish team. They played great defense. Red Holtzman was the coach and emphasized the team concept. And this team comes very close to mirroring what that team did. And, of course, they ended up winning 2 championships in 4 years, taking 2 out of 3 from 2 of those series of the 3 against the Lakers.
The one thing that they have done, this is the first time since Game 1 of the Cleveland series in the last 14 games for the Knicks that they didn't have more assists than their. I thought they got a little bit more ball-centric with Brunson. I understand it at the end of games, but they got out-assisted 28-18. It was not close. And it's also the first game in the 14-game run that they had more turnovers. And all of the commotion and all the buildup and all the distractions that were going on, I mean, they came out and they had 3 turnovers before they had one point. Yeah. When they fell behind 7. To start the second half, they had 2 quick turnovers to help San Antonio's run as well.
One of the things that also led me to the Spurs in Game 3, again, the fact that the first 2 games were pretty competitive, certainly even to the final few minutes. But with the extra day off and a chance to regroup, I think it gave San Antonio a way to come up with different approaches to defend the Knicks, to create some havoc, create some chaos. And as you pointed out, we saw that early in the game with the early turnovers. We saw it a little bit in the second half. I think San Antonio gained a great deal of confidence from the fact that they were able to win the way they did last night. But now, as I mentioned earlier, I think that it's now up to the Knicks to turn things around and say, okay, what went wrong in Game 3 that we need to correct to look more like Games 1 and 2, even though, again, 1 and 2 basically went down to the final couple of minutes both times.
Charlie, the Knicks have been a profitable team on this run. There's no doubt, okay? And they're still very short number. They were favored by considerably less at home than when San Antonio was favored in their home games. The power rating has been adjusted, and it's still that much. I mean, the Knicks a better team?
The Knicks are a better team when Karl Anthony Towns is a focal point of it. I think that's my reading.
when they play smart.
Yeah. Yeah, and that involves him.
Did you notice last night that Wemby was not on Karl Anthony Towns for most of the night? It was Keldon Johnson, and they kind of he's shooting a much higher percentage than Brunson, but did not get as many shots last night.
One thing about the Knicks, you go back to January 21st, so you're talking 50. I think it's like 55 games, 56 games now. They are 42-14 straight up. And I believe it's now 36-20 against the spread. I mean, they've been playing outstanding basketball for 4 months, over 4 months right now. And so they're just putting it all together. Remember, the only 2 losses they had prior to last night were each by a single point to Atlanta in that first series when they fell down 2-1, and then they went on that lengthy winning streak.
In the regular season, there was a lot of schedule related. They had a soft schedule for a while. They ripped off a winning streak, and then when it heated up, they had. Keep in mind, they were 7.5-1 to win the whole thing before the season started. 22-1 before the playoffs started. So what happened in the regular season? The futures market lost a lot of confidence in the Knicks.
Yeah, well, that's why I went back and took a look at what they did since January, and actually since March. They also had an outstanding record both home and on the road. Sometimes teams gel at the right time, and they showed signs. They had several good winning stretches during the regular season. They had a couple of 4 stretches. I think at one stretch, I think it was actually in maybe late February, early March, where they lost like 4 in a row. I think maybe only one of those 4 teams made the playoffs. But once they, they made some changes again. Mike Brown made more of the offense through Towns, and he did that in the Atlanta series when they were down 2-1. And I mean, they weren't just winning; they were dominating. So they certainly found the right formula. And at some point, that streak isn't going to go on forever. It went on as long as it did, and we saw how it affected them in that first game against Cleveland when they fell down by 22. We saw how it's affected them in the series. I think it was against San Antonio, maybe early on in that first game, and then they actually came back and played well and pulled that one out with the 11 points at the end. So the Knicks, they've been playing well. They've been playing extremely well. Regardless, you go up against the Pelicans or whatever, you're still going up against NBA players, the best players in the world.
What about the Game 4? So the hockey and the basketball are both 2-1 in a series, and there's been 3 close games in basketball, but 3 even closer games on the ice. Game 4 tonight.
Yeah, and I'm going with the home team, the Golden Knights. That Game 3 rather, may have been one of the weirdest games in NHL history. The 4-0 lead that they had in the second period, including a hat trick by Marner within 6 minutes, which I think was the quickest ever in the finals, and then to give up the 3 goals in 39 seconds in period 3. I thought that Carolina did really outplay them after that stretch in the second period. But the Golden Knights have just found a way throughout the season to play extremely well. This is the first. I can't remember the last time they played as poor a third period as they did. And I think that that's sort of like a learning point for the coaching staff, because you have to think that they were just relaxing in period 3, and all of a sudden Carolina caught them off guard. And, when you relax in a situation in sports like this, it's very difficult when all of a sudden you're asking yourself to pick up that level again, and Carolina took advantage of it. I thought throughout the first 3 games, one of the things that I did notice, I liked the spacing and the movement that Carolina had versus that of the Golden Knights. But the Knights have played extremely well under Tortorella. He's a proven coach. And the thing that swayed me, this game is basically a pick 'em. I'm seeing a lot of -110s each way. I see at the Circa, which has a 12-cent line, Carolina's -109, Knights -103. The Circa, Westgate has Carolina -107, Vegas -103. At this point, the regular season doesn't mean all that much, because remember, you've won 3 series to get to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Who you like, Andy?
I like the Knights tonight.
Got the Knights. All right, we're out of time, Andy. Follow Andy on Twitter at VegasAndy711. Thank you, Andy. We'll talk to you next week.
Catch you next week, guys. Take care.
All right, so Andy's got the Knights tonight in that one. Kind of the public probably be all over the Hurricanes in that one to try and even it up. It's kind of the zigzag philosophy there. Don't forget our friends at K&M Automotive, 8445 Segan Lane, just off of Perkins Road. It's the only place I take my vehicle. Oil, it wasn't like I needed an oil change specifically. I still had more oil life on my gauge, but it said you need oil. Oil is low. Brought it in. Jason looked at it. They did the things and fixed me up, got me on my way. So when that engine light comes on, we're not trained mechanics. We don't know. Bring it on in, and he will figure out what's going on with it. Tires, brakes, AC repair, oil changes, transmission work, you name it, he'll take care of it. So always going to give you an honest deal, never upcharging you for unnecessary work. 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday at 8445 Segan Lane, just off of Perkins, across the street from Ambrosia Bakery.
Live at Doe's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Doe's Eat Place on Government Street on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
South Carolina baseball hiring Coastal Carolina's Kevin Schnall. They expect that official announcement coming later today. That's been rumored pretty much since the job came open early in the conference season. Reports out of South Carolina that they will double his NIL and revenue share budget from what was there last year. We'll see if that comes to place. Coastal Carolina's job is now open. What kind of job is that? You're talking about a team that has been to the tournament pretty much every year. They've missed one in the last 9. They're there every year. They've been 4 times to the Super Regionals in their history. They've been to the College World Series twice, went to the finals both times, and won it once. That's a Sun Belt. It's a Sun Belt conference.
It's a good job. It's not as good as they used to be because of the money.
You wonder
that's what's changed.
The early word is that they want a sitting head coach from somewhere. Now, the somewhere is the interesting part because I was kind of curious if Nolan Cain, who's the lead assistant at Texas, who may very well win the national championship next week, would
it's my
be.
Pick.
Nolan is overdue for a really good job, in my opinion. Would this be, one if they're insisting on a coach with head coaching experience? Well, that's the only thing he doesn't have, but he's certainly ready to take over a program. What kind of job is this in the next 10 years?
Charlie, he might be able to get a better job.
Well, that's why I'm asking. Yeah. That's why I'm asking. What kind of job is this?
It's a Sun Belt job. So I mean, it's the
best Sun Belt job.
It has to be.
I mean, they haven't been in the Sun Belt.
I don't know the budgets of everybody. I know ULL was pretty vocal about.
They've had the most success out of any of those teams,
but not close.
Right now, they have all this entire resume I'm giving you is not all in the Sun Belt. They used to be in the Big South. So you're talking about since 17.
But they're part of the Sun, and the Sun Belt was just below the Big Ten as the 5th strongest conference, the highest mid-major conference RPI this year. Troy, ULL, Texas State, Southern Miss, Coastal. I mean, it's a good league.
Hour number 2 straight ahead here at Doe's Eat Place live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch, first class.
I want a seat in first class where I was booked and ticketed over a month ago.
Second class.
No man should be subjected to the indignity of being labeled or treated like a second-class citizen.
And no class.
Life had become like school on Sunday. No class.
I'll tell you what then. Why don't you call me sometime when you have no class?
First class, second class, and no class. Brought to you by Supreme Rice. Buy local with Louisiana-based Supreme Rice since 1936.
And return here at Doe's Eat Place, Government Street, Mid-City. First class. Thanks to Stephen Miller for sending me the post of Paul Skeens driving by a Little League field when he stopped by to play catch with some kids. And stayed for a long time, hung out.
In the Pittsburgh area, obviously.
Yeah, and played some catch with him, signed some autographs. There's some cool pictures of him with the kids. Good for him.
Did he really?
Yeah. It's I didn't show you the picture before, but that's just one of the pictures of him hanging out with the kid.
You think like 7, about 8-year-olds, yeah.
Yeah. Do you think they freaked out and they looked over and here comes Paul Skeens to the field? So I thought that was a really cool. Thanks for sharing that with us.
Very, very good, Paul.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
That's great. Jim, we didn't get a chance to talk yesterday about the Belmont, but Golden Tempo. I think you and I felt the same way. What a phenomenal race that he ran in the Kentucky Derby. To come from where he was, to wade through that traffic, to make, to win the race, to hold on, to beat a horse like Renegade who was stuck on the inside. It was a phenomenal run. We enjoyed the story about Cherie DeVoe and how she had worked up to be the first female trainer to ever win a Kentucky Derby. Okay. Then they decide they're not going to run the horse in the Preakness, and I'm fine with that. We've had this discussion about the Triple Crown. I think, honestly, it may be a dated concept for the time period that they run it in, and if the health of the horses is in jeopardy in any way, and that's what they felt. Because obviously now they know they have a horse that could have won a Triple Crown. They're going to put the health of the horse first. I'm fine with that. So we get to the Belmont, and I think you and I felt kind of the same way, that Renegade was the better horse, that Golden Tempo had the better trip in the Derby, not having to deal with the one hole. They run it again, and it's a mile and a quarter. Not this Belmont Stake was run at Saratoga, not at Belmont Park, so it's not the mile and a half. They run a mile and a quarter again. Renegade's going to beat him. They ran a mile and a quarter again, and Golden Tempo beat him again, and came from way back. On the far turn,
speed-based track too.
Yeah.
This is like 3 years in a row now. The Belmont portion of Saratoga was the speed bias was Speed was holding up, and it was to come off the pace was not happening a lot on Saturday again. I call it almost a flukish Kentucky Derby win. You say, I think you were using a superlative phenomenal. I think it was a phenomenal race. I thought because there's so many factors that are involved in a 20-horse field for these horses this young that have never been this far of a distance before, it's a bit of a crapshoot, and luck is a bigger portion. When Cherie DeVoe, they asked her, what are you thinking about right now? She said, after the Derby, says, I'm trying to watch the pace to see if we're going to have a chance and see if we can get the fractions out front. That's number one. And it was a torrid pace that set up. This is a lighter field. You are not going to have this suicidal pace on the front end, and it's shorter distance for a horse that obviously got stronger at the end. And so this is more of a true test as far as this would be more according to form. First horse I threw out.
Yeah.
First horse I threw out. And for him to, this validates that Derby win. It makes it less flukish. There's no doubt. And then we start looking. Charlie, the Preakness field was weak. Mm-hmm. Extremely. One horse aficionado said, could the Golden Temple have won the Preakness? Running backwards is one. I mean, the horse is winning the Preakness if he enters. The horse would have been compromised more in the Belmont, but damn it, if he looked this good,
right,
you had a shot.
No, you did.
And I'm sorry, you had a shot.
They asked her after the race, "Do you regret? Do you think are you rethinking not running him in the Preakness?" And she said, "No." Which she has to say that, I guess, she's going to the winter circuit, the Belmont Stakes. She wants to make it about this race. But what she said, I thought, was a little bit deeper than that. She says, we made our decision based on the well-being of the horse, and we're happy with that decision. And, Jimmy, I said this when we had this conversation right before the Derby. So much of this talk about restructuring the Triple Crown. This Triple Crown format has not been in place forever. More than half of the Triple Crown winners,
I was surprised to learn that,
won it in different formats before 1969. So it's not like this has been the only way we've ever run it. And if we know more now about the health of these horses than we did in 1969 or even 1999 or 2019 for that matter, then let's go ahead and protect the animals. I'm big on that. And we can call it the modern day Triple Crown if you want. And if the next horse that wins it, you say, well, they weren't as good as Justified, they weren't as good as American Pharaoh. I can live with that a lot more than I can every trainer pretty much saying, I'm not going to put my horse in these three races.
It's like a 50-50 call. It's trending. It's trending in a row.
How many Derby horses ran the Preakness? I'm forgetting, one or two, or was it any?
No, I don't think any.
Yeah,
I know that only one horse that ran in the Preakness, Taj Mahal, raced on the card Saturday and looked terrible.
Yeah,
they're terrible.
What the trainers are telling you, and it's not just one or two, is this is not how we train these horses. We don't train them to run three times at this level in 5 weeks. Don't.
When you get to the Derby, the horses used to have 7, 8 races under their belt. Yeah. Now it's 2 or 3, 4. No, 3 or 4 is mostly. Yeah. Right. But no, it's less. So it is different. I wonder if she would have, if it affected her any, if it would have been at Belmont, because the third jewel has to hurt. It's not a mile and a half, right. And the distance is a big thing. It's not just 3 races in 5 weeks, but it's also the mile and a half.
Yeah,
it's the different distances, and if a horse wins it now, we're going to have a little asterisk.
Sure.
I mean, we're going to have a little.
Now this horse.
We're going to have a little. Your boy, Sasha Zverev, winning the French Open with the big boys getting knocked
with
out.
Everybody else knocked out.
Yeah.
Now this particular horse, to me, looks more bred to be. The mile and a half would not have bothered him.
The horse obviously got stronger and was pulling away in both the Derby and the Belmont. Yeah. Yes.
I think it would have helped him.
Yes, I was. And again, I can't. The way the track was running that weekend too, or this past weekend, makes it even harder for this horse to do it at a shorter distance.
Yeah.
I mean, this was this is more than a validation. I mean, I was shocked. I was like, whoa, golden tempo. Okay, you're going from a flukish Derby win, Charlie, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but flukish Derby win to horse of the year.
Yeah. Absolutely. And one more thing, and I know people probably don't pay a whole lot of attention to fractions. They ran the opening quarter in 24 and change, the half in 48 and change. Those are slow fractions. When you're coming for a mile and a quarter.
What was it in the Derby?
It was a little bit faster. It was like 23 and change and 47 and
faster.
Change. Yeah, it was faster. But point being, if you have slow fractions, it's even harder to come off the pace.
Yeah, because they're gassing themselves out on the front end. The other thing is, I was down at Bourvage for the week, and look, about the last 5 races on the car, that place is, it is, especially in the South where we are, it's just, it's the races that get the casual
fans,
more than casual,
right.
Race fans to come in, participate, and draw a little interest. So, I mean, they've done so many poor things. We're talking about leadership, college football with Sorsby and this and that, and NIL and everything else right now. This is an industry that is overdue for some leadership, and I don't know if they're capable of figuring it out. Because since I was born, it was always, the format it is now. With a mile and a quarter. 2 weeks later, a mile and 3/16. 3 weeks later, a mile and a half. Always has been since I've been born. Yeah. I didn't realize it was only since 1969 because one thing that horse racing does have deep history goes back further, about 150 Kentucky Derbies, something like that.
I got tipped off to that. I had to go look it up. I didn't realize that either before we got into that.
I'm just throwing you flowers left and right today,
it's just a nice Tuesday.
Ball movement with the Knicks.
I got one more first class. Yesterday they held 7 of the 10 qualifiers for the U.S. Open. Okay, hold them they did 3 before this, and they did the last 7 yesterday. 715 golfers at 10 sites for 43 spots in the U.S. Open, which is next week at Shinnecock in New York. At the qualifier in Columbus, Ohio, Arnie Svensson, LSU golfer, was one of 4 that qualified for it.
Okay.
He is now. Here's the part I find interesting about him. He grew up in Iceland.
A lot of good tracks there.
I don't think of Iceland as somewhere. He is the first ever native of Iceland to qualify for the U.S. Open.
I think Whistling Straits has it's geographically challenged.
I just don't think of Iceland as somewhere that is somewhere you play a lot of golf. In fact,
negative.
If you'd have asked me, are there any golf courses in Iceland, I'd have had to think about it and say, well, probably not.
The first pick of the NHL draft was from Gretna.
Yeah, that's about the same thing. So, congratulations, sophomore from Iceland, LSU golfer. He'll be playing at Shinnecock Hills next week.
That's a great run for him too, man. In that tournament out at La Costa. Just north of Del Mar.
Yeah, he shot the 68 on the last day.
He's the one. Okay,
yeah. Good for him. Got into the tournament yesterday. Second class, good with a chance to be great. It's time to check in. Hunt did a real nice piece on the 23 national championship team at LSU and where they are now in their minors progression. Obviously Skeens is up at the top and Cruz is in the big leagues, but he did a deal on where everybody else is. I wanted to check in on 2 from last year. Last year at this time, Cade Anderson and Anthony Ianson were on their way to Omaha to lead LSU to the national championship. They have gotten off to unbelievable starts.
Ianson too?
Both of them, yeah.
I knew.
Yeah, let me give you the numbers. Anderson is in Double-A. This is a Seattle organization. He's playing in Little Rock, the Arkansas Travelers. 10 starts, 49 innings, 5-0, 129 ERA, and you're going to love this stat, a whip of .69. 0.69, 27 hits and 7 walks in 49 innings, 76 strikeouts for Cade Anderson. Ianson started the season at high A ball in Greenville. It's in the Red Sox organization. Was promoted to Portland in Double-A. 9 starts in the 2 leagues combined. ERA of 1.17 and a whip of .73. 38 innings, 18 hits, 10 walks, 53 strikeouts. Both of these guys, I would not at all be surprised to be on big league rosters, at least at this time next year, if not maybe even closer toward the beginning of the season. If they keep this up, then certainly they will. So great start for the two LSU aces.
Castillo is kind of having a little bit of a resurgence. I think he won. Seattle's has heated up, as of late. But I thought that he might be. He was they have a great rotation, but. He left with the lead. He's kind of bouncing back a little bit through 5 1/3 on Sunday against Detroit. 5 2/3 against Detroit. Only one run he gave up. So that's the last. Yeah, he was getting hit pretty hard. 7 runs, 4 runs, 4 runs, but now and then 3 runs. The last 4 outings, he has given up 1, 1, 0, and 2. So he's improving. His ERA. His ERA, Charlie, was as high as 6.41. It's down to 5.16. But I thought he was the candidate that Cade would take his spot because it got Elder and it got Gilbert and it got the kid Hancock. Who's been on a roll. They've got a very deep rotation. But a lefty, situational lefty, you can always use that.
Yeah, you wonder.
You can always use that.
I may be shortchanging him next year.
No,
they're in contention and
they're going to be in contention. They're
and they feel like he can help them. Sure, maybe he gets a second half call.
I'll be very surprised. Their lineup was a little slow and heating up. They've improved now. Naylor with a grand slam last night. They're probably going to win the West.
We've seen guys jump from Double-A to the big leagues a number of times. I mean, it's not all that uncommon. We'll see. He can't pitch any better than he's pitching right now where he is. Yeah, for sure.
Maybe not in the starters from maybe a spot. Yeah, a doubleheader or something like that. But
lefty out of the bullpen.
Their starting rotation is very deep. Not so much at Boston.
No class goes to Judge Ken Curry. That should be easy enough to. We talked about it a ton, but his ruling yesterday is one of the most potentially damaging rulings for college athletics in my lifetime. But I'm going to do this. I'm going to hedge just a little bit with what we've seen in the last 24 hours and the kind of the call to action of all of these power leagues and anybody who's got any influence in college football. For instance, the college football playoff. There was one call to say, hey, listen, just exclude Texas Tech from that if Sorsby plays. They're not connected to the NCAA. They have that power. They have that club in their bag. Curry's ruling yesterday, in my opinion, could not be more wrong, but it could spur more change in college athletics than anything we've seen.
That's second class.
Well, yeah, but I wrote it down. I wrote it
beat down the low hanging fruit.
I do want.
But what is one of your terms? Can I present the other side? Know your audience is something I've heard come out of your mouth from time to time. You ever been to Lubbock? You got to go out of your way to get there.
It's for radio hosts, not judges.
Okay. My bad.
His audience is
fair enough. Okay.
Justice.
All right. I thought it was just generally speaking.
No, I know why. And he actually, I think, if I read this correctly, lives closer to Dallas than he does to Lubbock. He was retired.
The other guy reclused himself, right?
Yeah, because
he didn't want the community pressure.
Well, he also had 2 degrees from Texas Tech. So
yes, his allegiance, and he is impartial, but he's also,
I'm sure Ken Curry, wherever he is today, is wishing he had never taken this call take this case.
You think the radio host in Lubbock's giving him no class today?
Probably not.
But that's the only place. When do you expect this more out of Tuscaloosa? More rabid type of SEC fan base, or are they just that they're hungry now and they got a taste, and they're definitely, let's face it, their quarterback, now you've heard a little bit, we learned after, but their quarterback looked like a junior high player out there against Oregon. That was pitiful. That defense was hanging in there.
The Texas Tech response doesn't surprise me. It's the response, and it doesn't surprise me. I just never thought this kid was going to get eligible. So this response from the rest of college football for a quarterback at Texas Tech is unprecedented, in my opinion. I mean, it took the NIL case 25 years to get from when O'Bannon did it to when it actually came. This all happened really quick.
My money was on he was not playing again.
So and just about everybody else's.
He might not. With him. And listen, we love college football so much, and if we could, it is the news season, so this is what we talk about. It's all their stuff, but it robs me. Man, you just put on the TV. The sport's never been healthier. It is great. You look at the stands. Fans aren't worried about NIL today. I mean, those places are awesome. I mean, the coverage. It's that part of it. It's fine, but man, it's always been poorly run. It's always been poor. I mean, Joe Paterno lost a national championship because he pulled his starters up 30 points in the fourth quarter against Indiana.
Yeah.
Okay, and they got 2-0 by the way. I mean, crap like that. Split national champions. They're just so poorly run, okay? But this is the one thing. They could turn a lot. Any tragedy, man, you better learn something. Speaking as teams, are you going to learn more? You're going to listen to your coach a little bit more after a loss than a win. I mean, but it's got to get worse before it gets better. This is as bad as it gets.
It's worse, yeah.
This is bad. And everybody, like you said, unified. I can't see a coach, and they influence their university presidents with their opinions because they're more knowledgeable, and they lean on them for their knowledge. They have to explain, like, we cannot go through our season wondering if our players are on the square. When you open it up and make it easier for them to bet on college football.
Let's blue book it right now. Does he play this year?
I say no.
I say no.
I still say no.
That is the statement that I heard more than anything. This kid cannot be allowed to play college football this year, ever. We are brought to you first class, second class, no class by Supreme Rice. 90 years in business here in 2026 down in Southwest Louisiana. All of our Supreme Rice grown, milled, processed here by Louisiana farmers. Part of the Climate Smart program, reducing methane emissions, promoting water conservation, and a great product for a reasonable amount of money. You're going to get more for your food dollar at all your AG food stores, all your Walmarts, all your Rouses. The brown, the long grain, the medium grain, the jasmine, and the parboiled rice. Which is your favorite?
It's great. It's here. And look, it's funny. Kids can be a little bit more finicky with their food. Ethan loves it. He loves the parboiled rice that I make. And I make enough to where I'll freeze some, just microwave it when I need it and things like that. So, but I mean, it holds up great, man. Firm, long grain rice, restaurant quality rice, really good stuff. Charlie, the other thing too is that it's a positive the Sorsby decision. I hadn't heard Kiffin get beat up, or we'll wait on this deal.
Could you imagine?
I know.
If Sorsby was here.
Yes, if Sorsby was here and Brick Wall decides.
Yeah. We could bring Brick Wall out of retirement. That would be the thing. Live at Doe's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
With Ott and Hanny from Doe's Eat Place on Government Street on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Returning here at Doe's live at lunch. The lines are out on the individual games for the College World Series that start with 2 games on Friday and 2 games on Saturday. We'll be doing our podcast a little bit later on today. It'll drop later this afternoon, I believe, Jimmy. But let's take a look at these lines here to open up. West Virginia is the biggest favorite. They are in the first game on Friday, 1 o'clock. They are minus 225 against Troy, who comes back at plus 160. Hard not to root for Troy with the atmosphere and everything down at that deal. But West Virginia was every bit as good. 2 first-timers at the College World Series. So I guess we can throw the shock and awe factor out, maybe, or is it equal at least going in? We'll see who handles it better.
Well, at least Troy, handled their business too. Both of them did against inferior competition. Little Rock and Cal Poly. So they're not. The way they beat Florida was pretty impressive. It was pretty decisively. Come out of the losers bracket. They could play with them here. I wouldn't be surprised with a close game. I'm not laying 225, with a team that's been there. But, West Virginia but it was just Kentucky gave them all they could handle. There was 3 really close games, in that regional before they got their super. But, Yeah, and Cal probably had like a 1-0 lead early, and they destroyed them. So it was a whitewash, as it should have been. So, yeah, and then West Virginia is a sizable favorite, but yeah, neither of these teams, I would give West Virginia a little bit more of a chance to make a run, but neither of these teams I have kind of making a run.
I don't think so either. I will tell you, I think that if these teams were playing in game 2, that this spread would be a lot more condensed, or at least it should be. I think West Virginia's big edge here is they have the pitching matchup. Max Yale, the Big 12 Pitcher of the Year. Now, he went out in the regional and had to leave after less than an inning with an injury, and everybody in West Virginia was kind of holding their breath. But they brought him back later in the regional. He kind of clamped that down, beating Kentucky. Then he came back and was lights out in the Super Regional. It was a very easy go for West Virginia, and their offense is clicking. They've scored 75 runs in the 7 games that they have played so far in the postseason. Yale has not allowed more than 2 earned runs in a game since April the 11th. So if he in fact, he's only allowed more than 3 in a game once all season. So he gives, in my opinion, West Virginia the edge in this game. Troy's
He's going to start?
Yes. That is the indication. They haven't announced it officially, yes. But, yeah, he comes back on he pitched on Friday. So I think he's –
No, he pitched Saturday.
Oh, he pitched Saturday. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, he pitched the clinching game.
Yeah.
He pitched the clinching game on Monday, and they wanted to give him
That's right.
Yes.
Came back on Saturday.
Yeah.
You're right. I think that he will go on 5 days rest, yeah. I think so.
You want to save him in a marble game? Want to roll the dice?
I wouldn't, but I don't think they will. If they do it would change my opinion of what. If Yale doesn't pitch, then I'm going to take Troy with that number. I think
right.
Yale's going to pitch. So
I would think he's expected to, but as far as
no, you bring up a point. I mean, do you want to?
I mean, it's West Virginia, Troy, North Carolina, and Ole Miss. So
Yeah.
North Carolina is the only seed,
right.
1 through 16. Ole Miss, we would both agree, is a top 15 team, huh?
Yes.
Despite their number 2 seed. Okay, they got a chance, but North Carolina, but they. You go through that stud for North Carolina, man. That is a path. That is a path.
It's interesting
because North Carolina is a big favorite in game 1 because he's got a 2.28 ERA. He had a complete game on Saturday, and he's going to start the first game against Ole Miss. He's got to. And that leaves him a little bit more vulnerable for that second game. I know this. If I'm North Carolina, I want him to use Yale.
Yes,
in the first.
Go ahead and throw you.
And it's spelled Yehl, by the way.
Yeah. And it's pronounced Yale. Second game is Ole Miss and North Carolina. UNC a 177 favorite. Ole Miss coming back at 130. I suspect we're going to see Hunter Elliott in the first game. He's the only holdover from Ole Miss's national championship team in 2022. Obviously, fifth-year guy. The ERA is not going to wow you at 5.15. This is not the same pitcher that Ole Miss rode to the national championship, but what he is somebody that they believe in. They are 6-0 all-time in the NCAA tournament, including a couple wins this year in games he starts in the tournament. His ERA in the tournament lifetime is 2.38. Now, again, that includes games from 2022, but it also includes some games from this year. They're still going to run him out there in the opener is what the indications we got from Bianco. And Taylor Rabe and Kate Townsend, their 2 and their 3, are both going to get drafted this year. Both going to be top 5 round type of guys, maybe top 3 round type of guys. They're going to go with Elliott. They've got one of the best closers in the SEC. Walker Hooks saved both games at Auburn. He's a multi-inning guy. He went 5 1/3 against Arizona State in the regional. So they've got a good shot. Now, here's the question. North Carolina goes with Jason DeCaro. He is their ace, 11-2, 2.28 ERA. Last week, Jimmy, he could not have been any better. Against Southern Cal, 2-hit, complete game shutout. Here's my question. He threw 117 pitches in that shutout, which is by far his most of the season. I think it's by 17 or 18, his most of the season, and by far his longest outing in innings. Can he turn around and do that again? Now, you get a better park to pitch in. Okay, this is a pitcher's park for sure. But can he turn around? The 3 games before that, he gave up 8 earned runs in 12 innings pitched. Not a disaster, but not great either.
No, that's not close. That is a low spot with a 2.28 ERA for the year.
Yeah, three different, and he didn't get out of fifth in any of them. So can he turn around and duplicate that performance against SC against Ole Miss on Friday if they run him? Now, if they don't run him, it's Ryan Lynch, who's 5-4 with a 4.20 ERA. He's a good pitcher, but he's not nearly as good as DeCaro. So I'm inclined to take a little Ole Miss here. The numbers are not going to match up if DeCaro pitches against Elliott when you look at the opening line. But look at the circumstances. Elliott's been on that mound in Omaha before. I'm going to take the Rebels in the point.
You said that Hunter Elliott's the only person who's been on this field before for Ole Miss.
No, I said he was the only holdover from the other team. I don't know if they've had somebody transfer in from somewhere else. He's the only guy that was on that Ole Miss championship team that's still on the team.
I don't think there's a player on anybody's roster on any of these 8 teams that has been on this field besides Hunter Elliott. We don't know all the transfers from everybody else, but I would say no.
North Carolina was in this 2 years ago, so maybe they may have some players left over. But yeah, Elliott's been there. He's a grandpa.
But he scares me. He scares me. He's damaged goods. He's not what he once was. He has been in the tournament. He gutted it out. And now look, I mean, in Auburn, I mean, it was still. But
the 2 double plays bailed him out.
He got fortunate. He's just not what he was.
No, he's nowhere near.
And North Carolina's guy is just those 3 stars. But the park, I think Elliott needs the park more than the North Carolina starter. Okay, and to just try and stay close and then maybe steal it late. If they, with the park plays like it normally does, but North Carolina loses this matchup. This is because if they were just pitching, say the pitching was even, man, I like Ole Miss. I just like their history a little bit more than North Carolina, but this pitching matchup is a bad one for Ole Miss.
Haven't seen totals on the games yet, but neither Ole Miss nor North Carolina has scored double digits in any game in the postseason this year. And
they're playing Athens.
No, if they'd played in Athens, they would have got over it.
Yes.
But they're going into a much more pitcher-friendly park. If you get a total that is double digits, I would be inclined to say under in this one. But I think probably wouldn't you say this total probably opens around 8.5, 9?
No, it'll be about 10.
You think 10?
Yeah,
okay. Still. If it's 10, I'm going under.
They start about 9.5, 10. Yeah, they started about in the double. It was about 11.5, something 11.5s, and maybe even a 12 to start of the Big Ten tournament, and they quickly worked their way down to like 9.5. 9.5, I think, was kind of the low.
Okay.
Yeah, well, so it's still college baseball, and still people are.
Sure.
But it'll shift. I think it'll have about 10.5.
I would go under.
Yes.
The offenses have been challenged so far. We talk about anniversaries from time to time. How about 115 years in business down at the Pierre-Part store, the Thibodeau store? They got some special events coming up at multiple locations on Friday in Lockport and on Saturday in Pierre-Part. They're going to have demonstrations from DeWalt and Milwaukee Power Tools.
Okay.
Your Country Clipper mowers, demonstrations for the swamp buckets. You ever use a swamp bucket?
I have.
Yeah.
They work.
They're really cool. So if you're looking for a gift for Dad, Father's Day, right around the corner, you can go out and kind of test some of this stuff, see what it's about in Lockport on Friday, on Saturday in Pierre-Part. And right now, you go to thethibodeaustore.com, man, the anniversary sale. They've got a ton. I think the one thing you don't have maybe is a fryer, a big fryer. They got the big fryers.
No, I don't.
Big fryers are on special, Ethan. Big fryers are on special at the Thibodeau store. The big, the large fryers, the large pots. Sale prices are good starting today all the way through June the 20th. So we got a ton of stuff coming up at our Thibodeau store.
the 12-quart cast iron Dutch ovens. I mean, the cast iron skillets, the 5-quart cast iron Dutch ovens, the 6-quart. I mean, you go on and on. All the different rubber boots, Charlie, are on sale. You mean the dual fryers, the 2-burner, the economy stoves.
You can go shopping. He sent us a ton of. There's so many things on special. We couldn't get it all in one day, but you can go shopping.
All the Cypress furniture, the individual chairs to the swinging chairs to kind of the rocking, double chairs. So, man, this is awesome, man. From the Pierre Port store, Thibodeau store, Lockport store, LaRose store. So, going to be just in time. 115 years.
115 years. Man.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Go online. You get to all 4 sites from one website, which is thethibodeaustore.com.
So the Pierre Port store would be a good reference to use on the history of the format of the Triple Crown, huh?
Yeah. Right. Live at Doe's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
With Ott and Hanny from Doe's Eat Place on Government Street on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
And return here at Doe's Eat Place. Come on by and see us. We're in the Crown Town Room, our usual spot here at Doe's Eat Place. All right, the second 2 games at the College World Series Saturday, 2 o'clock start for Oklahoma and Alabama. Jimmy, I think Florida is better than these 2 teams. I think Auburn is better than these 2 teams. I think Mississippi State is better than these 2 teams, but none of them are going to Omaha.
I agree.
They got favorable draw in the case of Alabama a little bit. They got fortunate that Florida State got knocked off on the other side, and Oklahoma went to Kansas, and I really don't know what happened to Kansas. They look so completely out of sorts from the team that had won the regional the week before. But give Oklahoma credit. They went in there and won. Give Alabama credit. They won every team they put in front of them. It's not their fault.
Alabama won decisively, too. They lost a game.
Right.
They didn't lose a game, and they
went 11 innings against Oklahoma State. That was the one game in the marble game of the regional. But that was it. The rest of them blew them away.
Oklahoma State was very, very popular. Very, very popular pick. And they took care of them. Now, they did benefit by Oklahoma State getting tripped up and having to come out of the losers bracket, so as to be fair. But it's such a strange season for them, where they lost to some not so great teams, and then you sweep teams like Auburn and Florida.
Yeah.
You swept a couple of top 8 seeds, but you lost to some really some pretty weak teams, and I think they have had the easiest path to Omaha in the postseason. So, so it's kind of not respect factor, but Oklahoma's bats have woken up. Their bats all of a sudden are a little hotter than what they've been. I think this is a short number. I think that Alabama has a more consistent ace over the course of the season. He certainly looked good this past weekend.
Tyler Fay has been
Fay
very reliable.
He was. How did they beat Auburn? Number 4 national seed when they swept him. It was with pitching.
Yeah,
there was like some 2-1, 4-1 games in there, stuff like that. So it was at Tuscaloosa, a rivalry game. We saw A&M beat up on Texas. The 2 games they had in College Station too. So that granted, but I think this is a short price on Alabama here.
So they played the 3-game set in Norman at the beginning of April. Fay pitched in the first game of that series. Alabama won 2 out of 3, but it was a very close run differential. It was 15-13 for the weekend. So it was the rubber game was a 1-run game. Fay pitched in the opener. They won that one 10-7. Now he gave up 4 runs, but they staked him to a 10-1 lead in the second. So the score I thought was a little bit deceiving in that game. Oklahoma has struggled to find a number 1 pitcher all season. They've tried it a bunch of different ways, but Cord Rager has done a nice job. They settled in on him 2 weeks ago. He threw 6 innings of 1-hit baseball at Kansas. On the road in the super regional. If he can do that again, then that'll be better output. When they had L.J. Mercurius in that Friday night role, he got hit hard. When they tried Cam Johnson, he had a couple of good outings, but he never could manage his control. I still favor Faye in this, but Oklahoma looks like a completely different team the last 2 weeks than what I saw play most of this year. They lost their last 4 series in the Southeastern Conference, and now they just kind of turned it on a little bit here in the last 2
let the
last 2
Sooners
weeks.
get hot.
Well, I've seen stranger things. They weren't the last team in.
They slayed the Dragon, though.
Georgia Tech.
No, I mean
that's maybe the biggest.
They slayed the Dragon, going in there and coming out of the losers bracket to beat them twice.
Yes,
that's
and losing. What was it, 7-3 going to the 7th inning?
7-3. Yeah, they dropped up 3-0, and then Patel for Georgia Tech pitched like 6 innings and gave up like 1 hit before he finally wore down. Got over 100 pitches.
Then the headliner, Saturday night at 7 o'clock, Texas and Georgia. This game is basically a pick. Our friends at Bet Rivers, -118 for the Bulldogs, -115 for Texas, which is about the only place I think that you're going to find Dylan Valanis as an underdog. The big lefty from Texas has just been unbelievable. He's 10-1, an ERA of 2.03, 126 to 27 strikeout to walk ratio. Now, Jimmy, against Oregon, and that's a very good Oregon team. Jim Schlossnagle, after the game, said it is a shame that Oregon is not going to Omaha. They're very much an Omaha caliber
club. It's a
club.
well-played game late Sunday night.
Yeah. The game, Valanis pitched around a lot of traffic. He gave up 8 hits and 4 walks and hit a batter in 5 1/3 innings. That's way more base runners than he usually allows.
Two whip.
But only 2 runs. So he pitched around a lot of that trouble.
He's got a long track record of high school to his freshman year last year as a closer to this year as a starter. He has very, very few blemishes on that track record. That's about it. They got close. They threatened. They did. And that's a lot of traffic. That his whip is way better than what it was in that one. But it's
1 for the year. It's almost exactly 1. Yeah.
And so but he is a hammer. He is a hammer. We would not be surprised if next year he's number 1 in the draft.
Yes.
6'6" lefty throws that hard. I mean, and it's just he throws different pitches. He's a pitcher also, but he's tough, man. And there's no better pitcher. I mean, you mentioned the 2 guys. Yale from West Virginia, who's low 2. Mm-hmm. All right, you've got
DeCaro for North Carolina.
DeCaro for North Carolina, 2.2 ERA for the year. But this guy to me is clearly the class left. He's
the best pitcher in the tournament. They have lost 1 game that he has started all year. You're going to remember this game. It was against Tennessee in Knoxville.
Yeah.
And Tegan Coons, the ace for Tennessee,
struck out 15,
had the game of his life. That's what it took to beat Valanis on the road in a hitter's park, obviously. Look, Georgia's great. Are the home runs going to translate into Charles Schwab?
Well, they've won a lot of games on the road in the conference, but this is different. And those cuts that I saw in those 2 games, that's not happening. It's not happening. They'll hit some home runs down to left, to left and to right to the foul poles, but they're not hitting them in the alleys to center field. From alley to alley, it's not happening. It's just a flawed approach, and it's just you can't tell them not to swing for the fences there. But I just don't know how you. Minera used to talk about that. We're gonna take cuts all year and then change it when we go to Omaha. It's definitely a concern, and Texas has shown that they can win in so many different ways. They've shown with the back end of the bullpen, with starting pitching, they could run the bases. I give the Georgia credit. If they want to run the bases, they can. They got some speed, a lot of speed on there. So I was impressed when they went down to Auburn and won 2 out of 3 away from that launching pad. That was impressive. But this park is just not. There's not a team that this park doesn't affect more than Georgia.
The winner of this game, in my opinion, will be a strong favorite to win the whole thing.
How many college parks they got? 500? From junior college to – is there a bigger launching pad than Athens? And there's a bigger pitching park than Charles Schwab. Everything's in between.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just to give you an idea of how many home runs Georgia's hit, they've hit 174. That's 14 off of the LSU record with the nuclear bats from 1997. I mean, it's 24 more than second place.
A lot of cheap ones in that park, huh?
Trees are full, man. They don't want no more.
It's like Thanksgiving at the trees. Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. If your homeowners association requires wood windows like mine did, you got to call my friends over at Relief Windows. 288-8138. They do windows, doors, siding, shutters, and shades. So, I mean, it's you can go to the like the doors, whether you're searching for a unique entry door, French doors, stylish sliding glass doors, looking out into your backyard. We offer a variety of material, colors, and finishes to suit your taste. Beautify your home with high-quality replacement doors from Relief Windows. Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com, 288-8138.
Commissioner, the Big 12 speaks, sort of. We'll tell you about that when we come back and wrap things up. It does. Live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Doe's Eat Place on Government Street on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Commissioner of the Big 12, Brett Yormark, had a very well-crafted way of saying nothing, but I'll read it to you. We had a thoughtful and productive conversation with our athletic directors today as we continue to walk through the broader implications of this situation. Many of our athletic directors voiced their opinion, I'll bet. We will continue to have open and honest dialogue amongst the group, and until there's something to report, these conversations will remain within the conference. In other words, go away, leave us alone while we try to figure out what we're going to do. That's the way I read that.
That's the biggest, Charlie. That's the, like I said, Georgia tells me they're not scheduling them. That's fine. But it's the Big 12, and you got nothing there.
Yeah, you did.
So
you certainly didn't get a show. Well, we'll abide by the ruling of the court, or we are staunchly behind Texas Tech, or no, there's no way this kid's going to play under our rules. You didn't get it. You got. We don't know what to do yet. That's what I took out of that. We got to figure out who. No matter what we do, we're going to get sued, so we're going to try to figure out how to do this, I guess. I
think he's protecting one of his member institutions
for the moment.
Texas Tech.
Yeah.
And he is not
protecting while he figures out.
You know what was said in that teleconference. There's nobody in that league that's saying, hey, taking their side.
No, they are a man without a country. And
but he's staying neutral, so he's protecting them.
Yeah, without
for the moment.
Yes, for the moment.
For the moment.
Thanks to Doe's Eat Place for being our host here today. One of the best steaks you'll get anywhere, and a terrific lunch menu as well. Tomorrow we're at Modesto. Stay tuned for Hunt on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.